Welcome back, everybody, to the Wednesday Kickabout show. I am chilling with Dylan, and so are you, because we are here to recap the week's news, all Man United news. A lot of it we've already discussed a little bit, but it's good to kind of recap for everyone who wants a little catch up. Plus, we haven't had a chance to talk to Dylan yet about his thoughts. So, as you can see, we are back again. Dylan, how you doing, man?
Tired but good.
Yeah, tired but good. Seems to be the theme of the summer so far.
Yeah. All that heat is just driving us all, just exhausting all of us.
Yeah, I'm just tired all the time, man. It's just all. I don't take naps, and I find myself just dozing off sometimes when I'm just chilling. Especially today, I went for a run this morning because it was like 85, not 95. So I was like, let's go for a run. And it's never. As soon as I take a shower after doing something like that, and as soon as I hit the couch, I'm like, it's dicey. I could fall asleep at any second. So. But was glad to be able to get out and do that. My hamstrings aren't too happy with me, though, but I probably pushed it. But what are you going to do? But for those of you... Yeah.
Deep lunges.
As you get old, I'm like whipping out all the tools, man, the foam rollers and stuff. And I'm like switching to cold showers to help and stuff. It's just every little thing you could do to prolong father time, getting his little hands on you. But in any case, you guys, this is the Kickabout. Pretty chill vibe if you can't tell. We just... we're, like I said, recapping a lot of stuff and talking a little this and that. Danny, big up, man. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
How you doing?
He's a long time to see. You and I were on Rich's channel earlier, just chatting in the chat. But yes, dude, as always, before we get started, guys, please hit that like button. Please make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Go check all the fun links in the video description. There's unique exclusive videos in there, like the goalkeeper targets that we did the other week. There is a fun link too. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, because I'm sure you guys are tired. But if you guys do have it on the mind, go check the link in the description for the Michigan Animal Welfare Foundation. My wife has helped fundraising. There is a link in there. Every little bit helps, of course. No pressure at all. Never any pressure. And if you can't do it, not a problem. Feel free sharing it as well. But there is a link in the description for that as well. And like I said a couple times now, any super chats, any memberships, anything that you guys purchase from the UVE store, including one of the OG green and golds, anything that you guys do in that regard for the next couple months until that fundraising event will go straight to that. I will cut that event a check from the channel. So keep that in mind. But again, there's never any pressure. I'm never trying to solicit anything, but some people do enjoy donating to charities and giving in that way. So there you go. Links in there for GoGoalShop. Links in there for the UVE store, Fubo, Kitbag, Fanatics. They hook me up with all sorts of stuff. So go check all that stuff out if you guys want to get some gear. Find your way to stream the Club World Cup if you care about the Club World Cup and all that stuff. So Dylan, have you been watching the Club World Cup at all?
Nope, I haven't watched anything.
Yeah, no, I've looked at like scores. I just can't. I have no option to watch it. Like TNT, some of them are on TNT, but there's not a TNT app anymore. So that's a thing. I'm not going to pay money to get DAZN or some crap like that. So, but it's a nonsense tournament. I don't know how you make this thing legitimate. I heard talk they're trying to expand it, and I'm like, that's not going to make it any better. Like the fact you can't legitimize a tournament right? What's that?
They already expanded it. It used to just be like 8 teams.
It's ridiculous, man. In theory, like it sounds cool, but it's just it's like designing a jersey sometimes, like that gray one from a couple years back that had like the Trinity statue. Like some people like it. I think it sounds cool in theory, but when you see it on the shirt, you're like, it doesn't really translate that well. So what are you going to do? But no, it's just, the money's going to money. People want their money. So big up, Stephanie. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, Stephanie. Welcome back, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribing on the way in. Say hi to Dylan, everybody. We're chilling with Dylan on the Wednesday Kickabout. Dylan's going to be a regular part of the channel. You guys have seen him on here tons and tons of times already. And it does help the channel to have a Christian Eriksen impersonator jumping on now and then. Gives me a bit of legitimacy, man. Oh, man. So
when I sign, you guys will be the first to know. So
yeah, where are you going, man? I don't know. Where is it? I have not seen any news on him. I know the club officially said goodbye to Lindelof today.
I saw that.
But we all knew that was coming.
I knew that was coming. Is he still looking at going back to Portugal?
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Lindelof? But it's just,
because because we got him from Benfica, so it makes sense if that's
Yeah.
what was going to happen. But we'll see what happens. But again, it's just one of those things where for me, you're not a United player anymore. I'm like, I kind of forget it. Not to be mean, but I'm like, you're not my concern anymore. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I don't know. We have no harsh feelings towards Lindelof. Eriksson, I thought was a really good piece of business, like free transfer. Like, how can you go wrong? You drinking
Yeah.
Verner's?
I am.
He's such a Michigander.
Gotta have that Michigan ginger soda, everybody.
It's such a Michigan thing, man. I can't drink Verner's because I only ever got Verner's when I was little, when I was sick. My mom always. So now I can't drink it without feeling like I'm sick or something. So, so we're gonna dive into the news, guys. Dylan's got his thoughts. I've got mine. Of course, we want yours. Remember, this is your channel. Kickabout really is your guys' show. I'm just here to kind of throw out the topic. So, first up, United have brought William Carvalho to the club. No, not the defensive midfielder that seemed to be linked to every club for 6 years. Not that William Carvalho. No, we have a new first team chef. His name is Will Carvalho, and he replaces the guy who left in October or something. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe he can find a way to. Maybe there's 101 ways to cook a rat cookbook someplace around, because we know we got plenty of those around Old Trafford these days.
That was my thought. I'm like, maybe he can help improve the cleanliness standards.
Yeah. I haven't bought any food when I've gone. I've never gotten any concessions in the stadium. I've got all the little carts and trucks outside the stadium. I'll get me some donuts and some chips and stuff. But I think Justin got some pies. Once I saw somebody get a sausage or something that was burnt, and I'm like, nah, I'm all set. I don't need any of that. The food in the cafe is not that bad, but what are you gonna do? That's funny. Yeah, the Club World Cup though, it's a bunch of garbage. I think you're delayed a couple seconds there, my guy, but that's okay.
I was just saying, Stephanie's got a good quote there for the food at Old Trafford.
Oh, Ratatouille. No Sir Jim jokes, anybody, please. I'm trying to stay monetized here. I used to work at Borders. Borders is a bookstore. It's a Michigan company. And it got to the point where, I was still there when Borders went out of business, right? It got to a point where we just kind of stopped caring as employees. So I put in the cookbook section, I went to the true crime section and got a couple books on cannibals and put them in the cookbook section just to start messing with people.
Nice.
When the business is going down, you don't really care anymore at that point. So Danny said I knew Danny. I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for the rat emojis. We know how Danny feels. Stephanie says, out of all these back four, we just have Maguire and Shaw left in our squad. Yeah, I mean, Shaw was still here when Ollie was here. That was an LVG signing, wasn't he, Shaw? Yeah.
Yep.
I always forget Shaw. You know who I forget is here right now is Dallo. I don't know why I forget he's here, but
because didn't we put him on loan right away, and then he came back, and then we put him on loan again?
Dallo, I don't remember. We got him when he was injured. He came injured, and then he went to AC Milan a few years back. But even just this past couple months, I just forgot about Dallo. I don't know why. But yeah, no one's really watching the Club World Cup. I think at all. I think I think more people care about the X Games, and that hasn't really been a thing for 2 decades. Skateboarding has not really been a thing, I think, at all. So it is what it is. If you do want to watch any Club World Cup, though, you can go check out that link to Fubo in the description. Maybe get your free trial and get some of that. But let's move on to some of the big news of the weeks, because I know that everyone has thoughts on some of the Man United agenda stuff that's been going on. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this Instagram photo from the other day?
On the one hand, I can see, you're supporting your teammate, but really, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's a big FU to the club. It's yeah, I'm just and it just really just shows his immaturity. He's not getting. There's been 2 different coaches have disciplined him, and he's not getting it.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, yeah, like we've been talking about, take a bid. Hopefully, we can get somewhere. I saw the reports we're shooting for $70 million. If we can get close to that, I'd take it. Just get him out of the club.
Yeah, I don't mind telling clubs, or at least starting the conversation at 70. I think that's a little bit of a lofty, ambitious price, but yeah, I do agree. It is, and it's like, and I put a poll in because there's a lot of layers to this. Some people are like, they stop the conversation at you're wearing another club shirt, like full stop. That's like hair. And I put a poll in the chat. You guys can get involved in there. How do you feel about players wearing other club shirts? I personally don't care unless it's Liverpool. Personally, don't care. But again, all things being equal, that would be where the conversation ends for a little, but it's not, right? Like you're saying, this is a guy who's had some disciplinary issues, even from literally Ten Hag's first summer preseason. Garnacho was already getting in trouble, and it's just the history. We went through that history of all this stuff the other day, liking some tweets that criticized Ten Hag, liking tweets criticizing Lisandro Martinez. He's left out of the Manchester Derby along with Rashford. That statement after the Europa League final, basically blasting Amorim for not giving him more minutes and stuff. It's one thing you could excuse it one or maybe twice, right, as being young, but this has now become a behavioral pattern, really. Like it just is. I've worked with enough young teenagers, people younger than Garnacho, who know. I know that teenagers can, and you work with like people who are younger than Garnacho, so like you shouldn't have to tell somebody that at this many times there's something else going on. Like this is a choice, so it's a little ridiculous. Again, the context, and it happens to be and you see Rashford commenting on it as well, which again, it is what it is. Someone's wearing your shirt, you're going to be thankful. Your teammates, I get it, but at the same time, these are the two players who literally the only ones who've really had issues with Amorim are these two guys. So it's kind of like I don't know, and everybody seems to be a tough guy on Instagram these days. I don't know what that is too. Is that like, do you like? I don't have Instagram. I don't work with a lot of young people that frequently regarding it. So I'm just like, is that a thing? Just keyboard warrior in it?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
and it's not even like direct message. It's call out. Get your friends on your side to attack them for you.
Yeah.
Like a direct message, a little different. But yeah, no, they'll just, yeah.
I've seen some people call this like a line in the sand. Do you feel like that's going on at all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a line in the sand beforehand. But
yeah.
Like this just adds to it for me. I'll make a double line now.
Some people are like, this is Alejandro Garnacho kind of drawing a line in the sand between like him and like it. This is like defiant almost in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
it's just weird, man. Danny's a little upset that a right back that we were linked to might be going to Brighton. Interesting. Oh. Danny's gonna get banned if he's gonna start on Garnacho. I think I don't know what word. I think I would just say immature is probably the best thing I would say about Garnacho at this point. And some of that is literally just he's young. Some of it is just the behavioral stuff, but just immaturity, which is too bad. You don't want the story of Garnacho or Rashford at United to go this way, right? You don't, but what it is. What do you do? What do you do when you've got kids in the class who are like just repeatedly just having this kind of behavioral issues? What do you think what is your go-to, or what do you think is a good way to kind of nip that in the bud or whatever?
I mean, for us, in the classroom, you try to have different interventions. Yeah. So, if it's classroom disruptions, what you try to do is you call them out, make them aware of what they're doing, and you can kind of pick up, are they doing it for attention? Are they not understanding, so they're trying to get everybody off task? What's going on?
Yeah.
Some of them are just trying to be cool and boss straight to their friend. Well, mostly the guys, because they're teenage boys and they want to look cool and everything. For the ones that continually is a problem, a lot of times you need the outside intervention. And I don't know what United's tried. I don't know. The hard part with Garnacho is he's going to have a sound chamber of just everybody. There's going to be a group of people telling him, "Oh no, it's not your fault."
Yeah.
And there's going to be more than I would see here, like at school. Like you're going to have the parents that will defend the kid, but if enough people see the same thing, that's different. So.
I'm like all for free speech, social media, do what you got to do. But it's like, I feel like in some cases you kind of forego a little bit of that freedom. Like, and if you're a Manchester United player, you do have to give it a second and a third thought before you hit that,
Mhm.
enter button and that send button and
Oh
that
yeah.
post button. Like, you just don't, like, because we can say for you have free speech, at least in this country. I mean, in other countries, just not doesn't work the same. But like, you don't have freedom of consequence.
Yeah.
Like, you
And
can't go to an airport and say certain things without getting arrested. You can't mouth off like racist stuff in public and have it posted online and expect to keep your job or something. That's consequence. You're gonna have consequence, and he should know better. Is my point. I guess I'm getting at.
yeah, he should. But I noticed with a lot of the just around his generation, which I can say that now because I'm over 30. Uh, um,
Let's calm down. Being over 30 is not a bad deal. It's easy,
um,
easy.
but
I'm old, by the way, so you guys didn't know.
he's not old. He's 29. Um,
I wish.
but anyway, with the generation coming up, they want to have all of the choice and the freedom to say whatever they want, but they want none of the responsibilities or consequences.
Yeah,
Not all of them, but it's the vocal minority that
yeah,
tends to be the problem. Most of the kids I taught this year, not a problem. Okay, yeah, they're teenagers, they're going to have their own issues, but there's always going to be a few that make it worse for everybody. He kind of seems like, at least Garnacho at this point, he's going to do that. I'm not seeing
yeah.
a mom do the same thing. I'm not seeing other academy kids do that.
No, Cheeto's not even doing shit like
He
this,
is
and
not.
he's 5 years younger than him, or
Exactly.
4 years younger. So,
So
yeah, it's all about the people you surround yourself with.
exactly.
Things like that. In my experience, working with clients who are younger as a therapist, a lot of times it does have to do a lot with parents and home environment,
Mhm.
and just trying to get everybody involved and stuff. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying there's a lot of factors that basically form who we are and who we become. There's a reason the term family of origin is a thing in therapy. Like, where you come from, that forms who you are. And so that's baggage you will carry around, good and bad. So
Mhm.
Stephanie says Garnacho is the definition of an attention seeker. I think
Uh-huh.
you can kind of put all of that under the umbrella of being just an immature 20-year-old kid growing up in 2025, basically. And so, good and bad, it's got its little characteristics. Danny said, "Spoiled little." I like you said "little" and not "little." Like, spoiled little brat throwing his toys out of the pram.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll
100%.
see what happens. Go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with Danny. 100%. That's exactly what he's doing.
So, and sometimes, I mean, people do what you got to do. Amorim is going to look at this and do. I mean, you can't get disciplined and left out of the derby and stuff, and then do something like this, and it not basically mean that you're out the door. Basically, like,
Yeah.
it's you kind of like he's gone. Like, he's got to be
Yeah.
gone, or at least he's told.
Yeah. Has to be.
I mean, we got those reports last month that he's basically been told like you need to find a new club. So
Yeah.
interesting stuff. Gamer TV, welcome back. Good to see you again, my
Right.
friend. Say hi to Christian Eriksen for us. You got to start learning some like Dutch or some Danish phrases, man.
Right.
Then you can really mess with people. So
That's
speaking
the
of
goal.
spoiled little, yeah, right. Speaking of spoiled little brats, Rashford had a fun little interview this week. Did you happen to watch any of that?
I'm sorry. I was just looking at one of the comments. What'd you say?
No, you're right. Did you watch any of Rashford's interview from earlier this week?
I did not.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What
I
do you
mean,
say?
so basically, he's on vacation in Spain right now, or at least he was when this all went down. I'm sure a lot of this is pre-recorded and edited, but and there's these two Spanish guys who have like a YouTube channel. I don't remember their name, but they basically like linked up with him while he was kind of doing some personal training and stuff, and sat down with him for like 10 minutes basically, and they were talking to him about a lot of different stuff, asking him little questions. One of the questions was like, what player, past or present, do you kind of see yourself in a little bit? It's very similar. And he said Thierry Henry, and he said, now I see myself more as a striker, as a nine, more naturally. And when I heard that, my first thought was he's twerking for Barca, because that's the only
Oh, yeah.
position that he's going to play at Barcelona. So then he was asked a couple other questions. He was asked about Lamine Yamal and stuff, and then he was asked like, "Would you want to go play with him?" And he was like, "Yeah, all the players want to play with the best." But then it was those little two like three words at the end of that that caught my attention. So he says, yeah, all the players want to play with the best. Pretty generic, but then he goes, hopefully we'll see. And I'm like, come on, dude, what are you doing? Like, and so I'm not trying to read too much into it, but that's basically kind of that little 10-minute casual interview. But I'm like, he's like, because I've said for a long time, if you go to Barcelona, the only position he's ever going to have any idea of playing there is going to be number 9. Like, he's not ousting Rafinha, he's not ousting Lamine Yamal. They're getting maybe Nicky Williams. They just grabbed, I think, Rooney Bargi as well from FC Copenhagen. Their wingers are stacked.
Oh yeah.
Lewandowski's like their only striker they have, so that's his only option, kind of thing. How do you feel about Rashford these days, and where he could be going, or where do you see him going?
Well, I mean, just listening to what you were talking about with his interview, that totally seemed like pandering to me. Like,
Yeah,
I want to go to Barcelona, so yeah, I totally could play the number 9, even though we've seen evidence that he doesn't do well playing as the number 9.
He definitely is a player that when he's asked to like stop and like or slow down a little bit when he's playing, it does look like things get a little harder for him.
Yeah.
I say he's on like Crash Bandicoot settings. Or did you ever play like Sonic the Hedgehog? Like when you go through the special ring zone and you're like in that tunnel and you can only go forward. Like that's what reminds me of Rashford. Like he can only go forward. If you ask him to stop, he gets in his own head. He second guesses everything. Like you need space to work. So to me, it's about finding a club that plays that. I think Aston Villa was a good fit for him. I think he should have stayed there. But he wants to play, for the big guys, even though, and again, it's like, what is it going to take for players like Sancho, Grealish, Rashford to kind of show a little humility, right? And just be like, maybe I'm not that guy. Maybe I've never been that guy. Like, what is that? Like, I don't know. He's definitely not a striker, but it might be too late for him to become a striker personally, but gamers go ahead.
I don't know how Barcelona is going to afford him. I mean, their wage structure and everything is all screwed up, and he is not a major priority for them. So
I don't even think they're still out of the water for like all the Danny Olmo stuff yet. I think
they're not.
They had extended that a couple times.
I mean, we'll take Danny Olmo.
Yeah, I mean he's going to have to fight for a spot with Wemo and Cunha now, unless he can play deep in a pivot. But yeah, Danny Olmo. I mean, I go back and forth. I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I wouldn't spend like a ton of money on Danny Olmo. He's 26, 27 now. It's interesting stuff. But let me get the chat here. Let me get caught up here. Gamers got a little bit of a Sancho update. Interesting. Yeah, we talked a little bit. It seems like that's very similar to what we talked about yesterday in terms of just it seems like it's like a Napoli, Juventus, Fenerbahce situation with Jadon Sancho. I'm not sure. So like the news we got yesterday was that Fenerbahce were offering like 163K a week, which is almost like half of what he's making, which I thought was weird, right? Because we got all those reports that he wasn't going to reduce his salary.
Oh, yeah.
Interested. So I don't know. I'm starting to, like I said yesterday, I'm starting to have a little doubts about some of these Turkish outlets. A lot of them just seem to be completely off the mark when it comes to their reporting, especially that Ekrem Koner guy who had all this Osimhen stuff in January. But what are your thoughts on Sancho? We got a lot of these young wingers who are just having issues with. Where do you see it going?
Honestly, I don't think he's going to move. I think he's going to ride the year out for his wages.
Yikes!
Because I don't know. That just seems like his personality. He hasn't really done much. I mean, he went over to Chelsea, but he was still getting the wages, and then he didn't do much there.
Yeah.
Chelsea, that's just kind of how I
fans were popping up all that good shit when they signed him, and then like he didn't do anything, and then he pops up with a rando goal in the final, and now everybody's his best friend again.
Oh yeah, no, but
final. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I just get the feeling that I get the feeling that the wage demands, even though he said like the Turkish outlets are saying that he's willing to like have them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't really see it being true. He got a big contract at 22. I don't know of any 22-year-old or 25-year-old that's going to stop making that type of money.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, and we're partly to blame for that as a club for
Hmm.
doing these contracts in the first place. We don't help ourselves. There's zero. I mean, it's. I feel like I need to put this on a T-shirt in the store, much like this. That the people who made the most important decisions at this club for so long were just the most incompetent,
Oh
inept
yeah.
people I've ever seen in my life. Like they have no idea what they're doing. But we'll see what happens. Gamer TV with Sancho. It's going to be interesting. Stephanie says, if you're producing the goods on the pitch, we could sort of overlook stupid posts, but that isn't the case with our temperamental forwards. They feel untouchable because they're still getting rewarded. Yeah, I mean, the
Hmm.
Puskas might have been the best thing and the worst thing to happen to us when it comes to Garnacho because it could give us more leeway to ask for more money, but at the same time, maybe it went to his head. I don't know. I could see something like that. Um, what we got here? Gamer TV getting involved. Box, big up, Box. Hopefully you're doing well, my
Ah,
friend. We're just kind of going over a little bit of the news these days. I mean, on Garnacho, we got some of those reports from Lori Whitwell because I know you have the Athletics, so I'm sure you saw this. But
yep.
apparently, we were telling clubs that 70 million is the price tag. How you feel about that? Is 70 million too high?
I'd love to get 70 million, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think 55, 60 is probably going to be the most we get.
Oh man, yeah, I think that's. I mean, I'm trying to look around at what other players are going for of a similar age, similar position. I mean, Modric. How much did Chelsea play for Modric? And he had maybe like 2 dozen first team games under his
Uh,
belt all his whole career.
I think they paid 50, 55,
What
something like that.
what
So
was Mudrick's price? I'm gonna look it up. 70 million euros, potentially rising to 100 million with add-ons. Roughly 62
yeah,
million
I was way
initially.
off.
And yeah, so they paid 62. They basically paid what we paid for Hoyland, except their add-ons are like another 25 million in add-ons. That's insane. They
But
paid that much for a kid with literally a teenager with like 2 dozen
yeah,
appearances in the Ukrainian league.
yeah,
That's messed up. That's bad.
that's
Big up.
Chelsea football.
I mean, I don't know what Todd Bowley's doing, man. It's just like that dude. I don't. I just don't. It's like it's almost like it's just like he's just doing it for fun. It's like he's trolling a little bit. I just don't get it.
He he's playing FIFA in really real life. Is all he's doing.
But this is the thing. It's like he's like playing FIFA, but he's like he reminds me of like some 12-year-old. No offense to any 12-year-olds watching who's never watched a minute of football, just looking at all the
Oh yeah.
best young look who just looks at FIFA to see all the young potentials and is like sign them. It almost seems like anytime anyone else is linked to a player under 20 that Chelsea comes swooping in, um, which. I think maybe he just paid really close attention to like the book Soccernomics. So there's a book behind me, this blue book behind me, Soccernomics. There is a chapter in there that does say like it's actually better to spend a little more on young players than it is to spend a lot on big players because you'll have a better chance of getting something back even if the younger players don't
Hmm.
work out. So maybe he's just like I'm scattergunning all the young players and see who throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, and everything else will just sell. But I just don't understand how Chelsea are able to do this because they've basically spent that much on Mudryk and they're not going to get anything back for him. They spent 200 million on 2 midfielders. I don't know where they're getting money from. I mean, they sold their women's team for a bit of money. They sell hotels. Like, I mean, and they did spread out these contracts like a lot. So I guess
Hmm.
but it's just, I don't know, man. I'm waiting for the hammer to drop on a lot of these clubs like City and Chelsea and whatnot, and it just doesn't ever seem like it's happening. But
They'll just keep paying off Richard Masters to look the other way.
yeah. I mean, they've got Strasbourg. Don't they have a part ownership in Strasbourg or something?
Yep.
Maybe they can do something like that. Uh, but 70 million, I put a poll in the chat. Is that a good price? You guys say it is. I just feel like I saw today that so one club that's been heavily linked to Garnacho has been Napoli, right? But I think that might be off the table because I saw today that Napoli have agreed or they've put offer in or they're going to put an offer in for PSV Eindhoven winger Noah Lang for like 25 million pounds. So could mean, I mean, are they going to get a lot of wingers in at Napoli or is that just, I mean, that's like less than half of what we're asking for Garnacho. And I think Noah Lang is he's decent, but he's not like amazing. But I don't know. I have no idea where do you think, where do you see Garnacho playing football next year?
Juventus,
Yeah,
somewhere
Garnacho.
either Juventus, Napoli, somewhere in the Italian league.
Well, we got those reports too that he wants to stay in England, but I'm like, I'm trying to think of who in the Premier League. I mean, Chelsea could be a fit, and maybe Aston Villa. That's about maybe
Those are
Forest,
the
but
only two I thought. But
Forest play that counterattacking system that he seems to do really well in. But is he the kind of? I don't know what are his wages, by the way.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna look it up here. £50,000 a week, which isn't bad. So pretty much every club can afford that. Just he probably wants to play in Europe. He probably wants to play to start. Who do Forest have on the left wing? I know they have Alanga. Alanga's on the right wing, right? I don't know
Mm-mm.
off the top of my head who Forest have on the left wing.
Yeah, Alonga's the right winger, so he could slot
Chelsea.
in as on the left winger
Yeah, I mean he could
for.
kind of he has played both. Chelsea, like I said, Villa. I mean Villa are struggling financially, so I don't even know if they'll be able to pay for him. But maybe they could throw us Kamara or Morgan Rogers, and we can kind of do a little swapsy on the down low. Um, Gamer says, personally, don't care what these guys do. I love this club, but not the players. There are better players than them out there. So if they want to post an opposition shirt, it's easier to get rid of. Yeah, I personally don't care when it comes. Like I think Stephanie said it earlier, and maybe you feel the same. Like I don't. I to an extent, obviously, aside from outlying stuff like murdering people, I don't really care what you do off the pitch as long as it doesn't affect your performances. So
Mm-hmm.
some people, aren't mad about it or aren't happy with it though. Bach says Rashford's one of the most diluted players I've seen at United. Danny thinks Bayern would be a good move for Rashford. That could be a good move, right? You could see him at Bayern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see him being there. I don't know. I don't think Bayern are in for him. I haven't heard anything, but who knows?
So they just got Elise. Who's on their left wing? Oh, Coman. Coman's
Mm-hmm.
like 20. It's got to be like 28, right? 29,
Yeah.
almost. I mean, he's got some injury stuff too. Rashford hasn't had too many injuries personally. Um, Box doesn't think Rashford would start. Yeah, he's got to basically oust Kingsley Coman because that's who's playing in his position. Unless he plays striker, I don't think he's going to be playing striker over Harry Kane anytime soon. So, um, Danny says we need to start a high fee for Garnacho because they'll knock us down to 50 with add-ons. Yeah, at this point, yeah, Garnacho and Rashford, I do want to get some money from because they're academy, but at
Mm-hmm.
the Sancho, I'm just like, you just go, dude. Like, I just want him out of here.
Yep.
I'm over it. Like, he's got 1 year left. I do think we have an extra option for a year, but do we really want to pay those wages?
Well, if Ed Woodward was here, we'd pick it up right now. But
You're right. Box says if we were buying Garnacho from Liga, we'd be quoted. Yeah, exactly. If this was like if Garnacho was a Benfica player and we wanted to buy him, it'd be 70, 80 million. Like
yep.
what's his face? Felix. Because Felix used to be a winger at Benfica, oddly enough. So Danny says, yeah, look what Dortmund want for Gittins. He's not even starting yet. I can't remember what because Chelsea are also looking at another winger, so that could be Chelsea off the list too. So maybe not Napoli, maybe not Chelsea. I don't know. His list of options is running thin. PSG aren't going to go for him because they've got wingers all over the place. So Gamer says 70 million would give room for at least 55 million plus 5 in add-ons, according to Romano. That's 60 million pure profit. Yeah, and it does help. We do every little bit of that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Box says Napoli are linked with everyone, to be honest. Garnacho, Grealish, Chiesa. I forgot about Chiesa. Liverpool. Did he even play for Liverpool this year?
I don't think so.
Isn't he
I don't
injured?
remember hearing his name at all.
Yeah, well, Liverpool aren't going to get enough crap for that. Or Endo, or Simicas, or anything. Yeah, chug that Verner's, man. Hudson Odoi, yeah, everyone's saying. Gamer TV says, you guys think when Bruno leaves, we can maybe go back in for Olise? Because I'm still heartbroken. Olise, like, here's the thing. Like, here's the thing, Gamer. Where would Elise play in this kind of system under Amorim? Where do you think, Dylan? Where do you see, like, if Olise? Because under Ten Hag, yeah, I definitely see him on the right wing, but in this system, it's a difficult one to look at.
I guess if he'd be the right attacking mid, but that's in Buemo's spot.
Yeah, we've got it's basically
Unless we're
Cunha's and
going to just,
Embuemo's spot to lose at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah,
So what,
uh,
Ahmad? Yeah, he's not gonna. Yeah,
no.
I don't see it. I don't see it. But yeah, he's great. He's having an excellent season at Bayern personally. But Box wants to know: will we take 120 million for Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, and Garnacho?
Yeah,
Mm, yeah, probably. I would take that. I might
I
take
would.
100 million for all four of those guys. To be honest, just even it out to
Get him
25
out of
million
the
a
club.
pop. Yeah, I would definitely take that. Or are there any in there? Like, if you had to keep one, like if you only sold three and you had to keep one, who would you keep?
Uh, Anthony, I think he, as much as he might whine, I think he'd be able to put in a good shift as a wingback.
As long as
But
he
I
didn't
don't
have
know.
as long as he didn't have to play left back, right?
Exactly. I'm right with Danny with none, but if we had to keep one at Anthony,
If we had to keep one, I'm gonna put it in the chat and let's see what the chat has to say. Hold on. Oh man, anything like anything interesting popping up at you these days in the old Manchester United Twitter sphere? Any
not that I'm.
no anything, any stories, anything popping up on you? Just like I say, you feel free to jump in whenever, man.
Oh,
This is your show too.
this is fun. I really kind of want this get a painting of that, but I was look because I go on Reddit for some of the updates that I don't get. And one of the guys put in there, I typed in Chat GPT iconic moments of Manchester United, and guess which iconic moment came up?
Oh man, there's so many. Like it's got to be like the Ollie like goal, right?
It has to do with Cantona.
Though he kicked the Crystal Palace fan.
Kung Fu kick, first thing that came up. That's what the Chat GPT said.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
So like, I kind of want that hanging up in my room, in my house now. So,
It's a so I guess that's actually a sore subject for some Palace fans, and even like rival fans in general. Because I didn't that guy. I think that guy ended up dying not that long after. Not I don't think as a direct result. I
yeah,
think it was just something else. But like it's obviously we don't condone players jumping in the stands unless it's Eric Cantona. But it's a sore subject, and I think it could. I think a lot of it is just a bit of tribalism. Like no, but like Liverpool fans will complain about it, but they don't have a problem with Luis Suarez being a racist prick. But I cannot believe
and
that
biting
they had
people's ears.
T-shirts. Yeah, right. I cannot believe they had T-shirts made for Suarez. I cannot believe Kenny Dalglish was defending Luis Suarez. That was an
Oh
absolute
yeah,
embarrassment. Like embarrassment. There are people who compare that to what Edison Cavani got in trouble for, and I'm like,
not even close.
if I thought you were serious, I would just think you were an idiot. But I don't. I think you're just trolling. Like football fans are weird. We're a weird bunch. Football fans, man. Danny would not keep any of them. Danny said probably Anthony if it was a gun to my head, but it's still Gamer TV says Anthony would work. I mean, maybe he could come in and play in that, like you're saying, in that right wing back spot, rotate with Ahmad.
Yeah,
Amorim seems to like left footers on that side, according to Ricardo Diaz, a sporting fan who jumps on the channel several times. I just think I think Anthony's got a taste of like first team football glory in Spain. And I think that he can't say no to that anymore. And so Real Betis, I think, are selling Cardoso to Atletico Madrid.
mm-hmm.
So now we know they've got money, so you can't plead poverty anymore. Pay up or fuck off. Like that's just where
That's
I'm
right.
at these days with them. It's just his box is we're a weird bunch. But
Yep.
yeah, football fans are a weird bunch. If you just I might have to look. I'm gonna see if there's any books on there because I might have to start redoing some research and maybe write a book of my own on like this psychology of just football fans in general with the tribalism and the cognitive dissonance and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the group think that goes into stuff like back in like the hooligan days. Like it's just interesting stuff. We're a weird bunch. Evening, Gary. Good to see you again. Gary, new to
Gary,
the channel. Say hello to Christian Erickson, Gary. We are here chilling with Dylan tonight. Gamer says Cardoso is done. They have absolutely no excuse not to pay. Exactly. I mean, it's just, and we've been done with that same mentality so many times in the transfer market. United tax, all this stuff, and it's a hard one. Like you want to stick to your guns, right? But at the same time, there's some of these players that you just want gone. So where's that line between like we know what we need to go? I'm tired of getting bent over, but at the same time, like Sancho needs to go, Garnacho needs to go, Rashford needs to go. So what is everybody saying in this poll here? If you had to keep one, who would you keep? 67% so far say they're going to keep Anthony. 33% say Garnacho. Nobody wants Rashford or Sancho. These English wingers are not getting any love these days. Box exact book would be a great read. It would be a lot of research, and like not even just in the psychology aspect, but like the history of and things. But I think it could be fun. But maybe
Don't worry, I got you on that part. We'll co-author it.
yeah, let's do it, man. We'll have to do some field work in Manchester. Oh darn.
Oh man. Oh.
So the PFA, yeah, right. We'll go. Like the PFA has so the class that I'm in, they've got an office in London, which is kind of where but they have an office in Manchester too that they just don't really use. And so I'm like,
we can move in.
I'll come give some lectures. I'll do what I got to do.
Yeah.
But big up, Rob. Is Malacia the forgotten man? I think for a lot of people, I mention Malacia all the time when I go through the list of players that we need to get rid of. But I did see a post earlier today about it was like just a bunch of headlines like Malacia, just another player that they can't find suitors for, basically, even though he won Eredivisie on loan this season. But he's old, man. Like he's got to, like, where does Malacia even go? This is the thing. We have so many players, man. We've gotten it so wrong in the transfer market with so many players, dude. And it's just, I'm trying not to use it as a stick to beat Ten Hag with, but a lot of these players are his signings. So I'm like, come on, Onana, Casemiro, Anthony, Malacia, like Ten Hag. What are you doing, my guy? Gamer says Malacia go to Saudi. Is he the kind of player that you see going to the Saudi league?
That'd be great if he did. We'll take that fee.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Rob's not ruling out a Welbeck return. Let him come in and teach these whippersnappers what's what.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I remember when Welbeck was a whippersnapper. That's how old I am. he
I remember that too.
He and Andy Carroll were balling out for England in the 2012 Euros, if you remember those. Oh yeah, Andy Carroll scored that beast header. I think Welbeck had like some sort of backheel volley or something in the box, if I remember that correct. I remember because I liked the jerseys that England wore. That was like the black with like the blue collars. Gary, big up Gary. Wow. So generous, man. Jerry's helping out. And like you guys, I mean, I appreciate with a super chat. Big up. Sancho Vlahovic swap seems to be picking up pace. I don't rate Vlahovic, but if it gets rid of Sancho, I'm on board. So we want to, I mean, and there's a lot to pick apart. But I do appreciate the generosity, Gary. Actually, like absolute big up legend Gary in the chat, man. But
hey, Gary,
there's so much to that because I don't rate, like you said, I don't rate Vlahovic, but I want Sancho gone. It's almost though, like it's almost a like for like in the sense that like they're not players that I rate quality wise, and they're both on like 300K a week, and so I feel like we'd just be trading one problem for a new one because if you're getting in Vlahovic, he's going to be on a long contract. I did read rumors that he might take a pay cut, but I'm like, I just don't think he's that. What do you like? Vlahovic seemed to be huge at Fiorentina, and they made this move to Juventus, and like I think people are still trying to force this hype, but I've just never seen. What are your thoughts on Vlahovic, Dylan?
I liked him at Fiorentina. I actually thought we should have got him.
Yeah.
Now I thought that first season at Juve he did all right, like getting used to the bigger stage. But yeah, he's just fallen off. But like I already said, if we can get rid of Sancho, he takes a pay cut. I'll take that. But I don't. Happening.
Yeah, he was good at Fiorentina. He's definitely no Batistuta, but he was decent. But
well,
Batistuta was like one of the first strikers I remember watching on TV when I was younger.
I was going to say that's almost an unfair comparison.
I mean, everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to compare everybody to everyone else. So it is what it is. Like you're not a good manager if you're not as good as Fergie. You're not a good winger if you're not.
That's true.
Yeah, it is what it is. But Rob says I'd keep Garnacho. He's a pain, but entertaining. I mean, we could say the same about Jose. I don't want Jose anywhere near this club. But Danny says Welbeck still played for United when I left Ireland. Welbeck it's a bittersweet thing because we love him. but every club he's been at since he scores against us while he's played Watford, Arsenal, Brighton. It just
Every
it
time.
hurt. It's a deep pain. It hurts us so bad when that happens, but he seems to just love it. Gamer says Cavani can come back and he'll still outscore around this Oakland. They're having a little mini United reunion over there at Boca these days. So they got like 8 former United players. Those dudes are Marcus Rojo, Ander Herrera, Cavani, Sergio Romero, and I feel like there's one more that I'm forgetting. Somebody remind me in the chat if there's who's the last former United player at Boca right now. Somebody remember. So it's 50-50 right now. People would keep Anthony or Garnacho. Interesting. Rich, big up, Rich. Good to see you again. Say hi to Christian Eriksen.
How you doing? Hello.
We need to get you an Eriksen shirt. I sent you that photo of that soft drink that he like sponsors. He's on like his photo is on the can. We need to find some of those someplace. Rajat, big up, Rajat. Good to see you.
Putting that all around me.
Yeah, we're gonna get him and just chug it and keep it behind you. Rajat says no to Vlahovic. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Vlahovic personally. So Rich says I don't want Juve's Deadwood. I'm thinking like as we've been talking about Juve, I'm trying to think of anybody currently at Juve that I would want at United. Maybe Locatelli. I like Locatelli a lot.
Yeah.
Yildiz maybe. Yildiz is all right. So interesting though. Rajat would get Kola Mwani. I've not been sold on Kola Mwani. You guys know how I feel about players who have one good season. He was good at Frankfurt on one season, same as Ekitike, same as Darwin Nunez at Benfica, same as Gonçalo Ramos at Benfica, and then like same as Andrea Bellotti is an example I always give, but just not. Do you like Kola Mwani, Dill?
It's hard. It's hard for me to tell. He's had a lot of success in not necessarily in less physical leagues is the bigger part. So that always tends to make me, for strikers, hesitant with how the Premier League plays. And being successful at PSG in the Farmers League that it is, besides the fact that they just won the Champions League, is not necessarily something indicative of success for me.
Yeah, PSG. It's like you're expected to win the Liga when you're at PSG. Same as Bayern, and that to me just is indicative, like you're saying, of leagues that aren't really worth it. But Gary wants to put in a cheeky bid for Wissa at Brentford. Links up great. Yeah, the striker thing is going to be an interesting thing as we head into preseason because I do feel like once we wrap up in Buemo, I do feel like we're going to be going for a striker next. I would ideally like to have one in before preseason, but I don't know who I could not tell you who would be getting if we're getting a striker because Gyökeres supposedly prefers Arsenal. We're still kind of in form. I don't have any idea what's going on with Osimhen. I don't know of any other strikers out there right now that are like those two are to me in the top. Look at the top two quality wise, and then everyone else is just like almost like a tier or two below them. Do you have who would your target be for striker?
I mean, it's going to depend on sales for me. I would have preferred Osimhen in a swap deal, just because I think that would have worked out a little bit better.
For who?
But at the same time, the wages are just to get rid of some of the players. Like we could have swapped him with Sancho or
just anybody.
To get rid of him. Yeah, but the wages are going to kill us on that end, and it's going to destroy the wage structure for trying to rebuild. So I'm almost like if we can't get somebody like that we really want, just ride it back with Højlund. Just at least, we know we got in Højlund. We can bandage it. We can just try to make it work as best we can, or even play Xerxes more in that 9.5 to link up, play it at 2 up front and Xerxes in the middle.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, Jonathan David's still out there. I think he's still for me like a level below, obviously Gyökeres and Osimhen, but he is a free agent. I've seen Ollie Watkins get tossed around a little bit, which I wouldn't be opposed to, but I still wouldn't. If we sold Højlund and got Ollie Watkins, I'd still feel like we need another like striker. Personally, Gamer says I feel like Vlahovic will come good with Mbeumo, Cunha, and Bruno, so he will be well serviced. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get more service. I need a striker who's got a little bit of everything. For me, it doesn't need to be someone who's like a 10 out of 10 in one area. Because if you're just a poacher, for instance, then you're kind of limited. I'd like to see a little bit more channel running, a little bit more link up play, hold up play, and yeah, some in the box movement, and of course some finishing in there as well. I need to see a little bit of everything these days because that's just modern football in many ways. I mean, Harry
Mhm.
Kane isn't just a finisher; he's dropping deep. He's almost like a second striker, like Benzema or like Cantona was now, or Rooney in a way. And you have to be able to do that a little bit more. So I think Hoyland's just at a young age where that's just not really going to be his thing. I mean, Hoyland was never supposed to be the starter. Like we know that, but it is what it is. We talk about it all the time. But Rob says I think he could be the season's Johnny Evans style. He's talking about Welbeck too. Yeah, we could just keep bringing back, just keep running it back, man. It could just bring back all these former players. We got Ronaldo, we got Johnny Evans. We can bring back Welbeck as well. Why not? Just run it back. Who else is out there kicking around? We could bring back anybody. Somebody said Cavani. Yeah. Um,
Ander Herrera.
and I don't want to talk about Ander Herrera. It's only going to make me mad. That one hurt. That one hurt a lot. Losing Ander
It
Herrera.
did. It
He
did.
was he was one of our best. I think he was on my list of our top five post Sir Alex Ferguson signings.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, I don't remember who else is
Yep.
on my. Obviously Bruno. I think Sergio Romero. I think you had Cavani, right? Did you put Cavani on your list?
Yep. I put Cavani on there. I had Zlatan.
Oh yeah, you had both those guys. Yeah, I don't remember now. Yeah, some good players. We've signed some good players in there. Kai, big up Kai. Better late than never, my friend.
Hi.
Hopefully you're doing well. I am like way behind here. Rich wants to know: did Maguire or Delit outscore Rasmus? I would say no, but I I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Now it's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to go check. Uh, you guys get your guesses in if if Harry Maguire outscored Rasmus Højlund this year in the league or in all competitions? No, he only got one goal in the league. Let me see what else he did. Oh, he had 4 goals in all competitions compared to Hoyland, who had. Oh, it's gonna make me sad or not. Um, no, Hoyland had more goals, so it's a nice try. It was a nice try, Rich. Fox said most people outscored Hoyland in Zerg camp. Well, that's cruel. Gamer wants. Is that the same Conchetta who was at Brighton? Is that who that is? Is that who is at Juve now? Interesting. Oh, that's another one that I like a lot, Raja. Good shout, Coop Miners. I liked him a lot when he was at Akmar. He
Mhm.
was very good. Then he went to Atalanta, doing it very well. But Zerkamp is messed up. You guys are funny. Zerbatov, there's a good one. Oh man, Shawberto. Uh-oh. I'm sticking with Haridona though. You can't take Haridona away from me. Oh man. Oh, Dylan, how do you feel about the transfer window so far?
Slower than I would have hoped. I thought it started out really good when we got Cunha, but or Cunha, but I was really hoping the Emblemo deal would be done by now,
Yeah.
just to get him in, just so we could focus on other target. I wouldn't say we've had a bad window. I'm just saying I'm a little disappointed that we haven't got more done. But,
Yeah, I mean, I try to remind myself, that the window is usually not even open until July, so
mhm.
it is what it is. I think we haven't seen a ton of business from a lot of clubs, really. I think obviously Liverpool went really big because they didn't spend anything really this past year,
Yeah,
and so they could kind of spend 100 on Florian Wirtz because this is all last year's. But July 1st kicks in, it's a new calendar year, so I
yeah,
do think that when July 1st gets here, we're going to see a little bit of like someone's going to fire a gun and everyone's going to go for some targets. And I think you're going to see a domino effect with keepers, strikers. I'd love to see some midfielders come into the club too, but
oh yeah,
it's just, yeah, I think that people need to keep in mind just the PSR situation that everyone's facing. More clubs have been done for the financial stuff and the PSR stuff in these last couple of years than like the last decade before that. Like it's cracking down and clubs are really having this. This is why I think I think this has almost kind of enforced a shift from player power because these guys on big wages are no longer getting their way. And I think that because clubs are now trying to get back to a more financially sustainable place, I don't think you're going to see a lot of these big money wages anymore, which could be bad. Maybe that means the Saudi league comes in and stuff. But player power is one of the worst things that's happened to football, and clubs unfortunately kind of let it go. But let me get. Gary wants to take advantage of Lyon's financial situation. Yeah, did you see that shit today? That's messed up, man.
Yeah, that hurts them. Well, that hurts all of French football. So that's going to be rough for them. But yeah, I'm totally down with trying to take advantage of the situation here.
We could talk about that real quick while we're on this subject. I wasn't going to talk about it a little later, but yeah. So, like, for those of you who haven't seen that situation, so Lyon have tentatively been relegated. Now, and I told you guys all months ago that they were in serious trouble. I said this way, way long time ago, back in like December, January. I was talking about this. They have a lot of debt. They have stuff that they're not able to pay off. Their stadium situation is a shambles. And I said back then we should have made some cheeky bids for players. Some of the players that I mentioned, like Kakare and Chirke, are now gone and doing things. They still have some players, but they've had to sell players. They sold their women's team, just something that Chelsea have done. And I think I read today that Aston Villa might be having to sell their women's team as well, just to avoid PSR loss. They've sold their stadium, Lyon, right? They've sold, I think they're going to sell. So the guy, John Textor, I think is his name, a guy who also does the Crystal Palace. He also owns an NWSL team that I think he might be selling. They're appealing for some capital, like loans, or basically I think that they have the option to appeal the relegation, but it's just like it's messed up. So that's the news. So like they've been relegated. They will appeal the decision that's coming from Julian Laurens with ESPN FC, but it's freaking insane, man. Like that's what I mean. Like the financial stuff is killing everyone. Are there any players that you would take from Lyon?
Matic, we'll bring Matic back.
Matic. Jose's not our manager. Maybe he'll go to Ooh. Who wants to bet me money that Matic is going to go to Besiktas?
Play for Ollie?
I'm not Besiktas, sorry. Fenerbahce. Yeah.
I can see that.
He loves him. You guys are
Oh,
funny. You guys are getting in the Oh, man. No, everyone's just coming up with nicknames now for everybody. Hold on. All this chat.
Good nicknames, too.
Gamer likes Mikadadze. I did a scouting report on him when he was at Metz still, and then he went to like Burnley, Ajax. Yeah, he did not do well at Ajax. He's doing pretty decently. But yeah, they have a couple players. I did I'll put up the scouting report. So Lyon have a player that I think could do well for us. Say hello to Sale Kumbedi. So I think he could be a good pickup for us. I had to squeeze in a scouting report. You guys know I have to squeeze in scouting reports. He could be a really good little shrewd right wing back pickup. 20 years old. He's got very good ball progression numbers, very good tackle numbers. We were actually linked with him not that long ago. Very good young player. Yeah, and if you look at his numbers here, so again, those successful take-ons, those progressive carries, the tackles are really, really good. The pass completion, good numbers for a 20-year-old. Now you're saying, yeah, it's a farmers league, but again, he's in a struggling side, and obviously they got to a semifinal. So I think he could be a very good pickup for us. This is a heat map from last year as well. Obviously, he plays right back, so you're going to see him dominating their right-hand side, but you do see a lot of touches inside the opposition box as well. He would be one I think could be a really good pickup if we're linked to Giovanni Quendo, if we're linked to Roger Fernandez and stuff like that. This to me makes sense personally. I think that this is a good little piece of business. Lionheart's big up. Lionheart's.
What's up, Lionheart?
Good to see you again. Says hello, Sean Christian. Big up, man. Rob says Fofana. Yeah, Malik Fofana. Obviously, everybody was bigging up him in the semifinal. Gary says, we absolutely cannot go into another season with biscuit wrists in goal. Don't get me started on Onana, man. Don't get me started on Onana. Who would you guys take at United, though, from Lyon? Let me know in the chat. Gamer says Fofana is clear of Amos at left wing back. Interesting. Well, Amos, that's a bit harsh. Amos is super young, but I hear you. I'm caught up now. Look at me go. So Almada, I like Almada. Technically, he's on loan at Lyon from Botafogo, but again, the guy who owns Lyon, I think, also partly owns Botafogo as well. So it's one of those city loan situations. But yeah, so Sale Kimbedi would probably be my pick simply because of the positions that we've been looking at and his age profile and all that is similar to what we've been linked to already. I would sell Dallo. Would you sell Dallo?
Yeah, yeah. I think he fits more the traditional back four setup. I think he did fine as a wing back. I just we need somebody more suited to that position. And nothing wrong with Dallo going and playing on the right side of the back four. Like he did well in
Yeah.
Ten Hag's system, so it just doesn't fit the system.
I just don't think he's that good, to be honest with you, Dallo, personally. He's shits himself in 1v1s on and off the ball. His final ball has been garbage. I'm like maybe one out of every like 10 is actually not in the stands. Like I just don't think he's that good. He's 25, 26 now. If we do up his contract, it's pretty much going to be it. So I think that he probably represents his maximum value at the moment. So if I were me, I would be moving to move him on. Problem is, it's just there's too many players we have to get rid of, too many players that we can improve on, and so it's difficult, man. And it's a problem that Amorim and Ineos shouldn't have had to deal with. But
Yep.
Gamer thinks Kimbedi is better as a right. I mean, that's basically what he's going to be playing at in this system. But he's just a player that I like. So Box says Fofana is a winger, won't fit system. Interesting. Lionheart says sell Dallo in a heartbeat. Danny says Dallo is poo. Bach says we need a left wing back. Yeah, I agree. I would take an experienced left back. I did that video a while back on players who aren't in Europe who I think we should look back. One of those was a left back, so go check that out. I like Leif Davis. I think Ryan Dowdy at Luton Town's a good shout to come in. I want someone a little more experienced, someone who knows the English league a little bit better to come in because I like Dorgu. He looks promising. He's just young, right? Like, how do you feel about Dorgu?
He's young. He's had flashes. He looked good, but he was in a new league from where he was at in Italy. And the physicality was going to be tough on him. Being 20 years old was going to be tough. Being forced to play right away. So I'm totally with getting experienced left back to teach both him and Diego Leon, who's going to be part of the reserves and probably take part of that spot too.
Yeah.
That would be, and Almas. So we could have three good wingbacks there. I think would be good.
Not one of them is older than 21 though, which is a bit worrying for me when you consider the most senior left wingback we have has also been here 6 months, and he's 20 years old. That's why I'm like, if we had extra cash, that's like a Teo Hernandez cheeky bid wouldn't have been gone amiss in my opinion. Something like that. Like I'm thinking who got relegated? Leif Davis at Ipswich Town. Awesome. Maybe I don't know who Southampton had. Maybe I have no idea. But the nice thing about Dorgu is he can also play on the right, so he can also serve maybe an understudy. But again, if he serves as an understudy to Ahmad, then someone's got to play left back. So you can either shove Mizraoui there, you could shove Dallo over there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. We're in a shit situation right now. You were talking about swaps a couple times. Did you see this stuff about Christopher Nkunku and all this swap nonsense?
Yeah. No.
I don't get that at all.
He's injured all the time. I don't get that. We already got enough injured people.
Dude, I did that. I talked about it yesterday. He's missed like 50 games just since joining Chelsea, mind you. Like, I'm all set. He was a baller at RB Leipzig, like an absolute baller. And I do think he fits the system, but I'm over it. We don't need another broken ass Chelsea player. We already got one Mason Mount. We don't need another one. I'm all set on that.
But if Chelsea are looking to sell, I'll take Cole Palmer. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, I think everyone would take Cole Palmer. I'm trying to think who else. I would take Cucurella. Probably. I would take Cucurella. I like Cucurella a lot. I think he's a good player. Chelsea need
I'll
a
be honest, Sean. You really want João Felix?
Is he still? Is he Chelsea player still?
He's on loan somewhere from Chelsea.
Because he was at AC, I thought he was at AC Milan. I didn't know if they bought him. And that guy,
That's
jeez,
oh,
how many loans has that guy had since he since freaking? No man, Atletico didn't want to keep him. Barcelona didn't was he at Barcelona? Wasn't he at Bayern for a hot second too? I can't remember, man. I can't keep up with João
he
Felix.
might have. I don't remember.
It's embarrassing. This kid, man. I know a lot of people like him. A lot of people were talking about him in January trying to get. I'm like, I've never been that convinced on João Felix personally, but Gary makes an interesting point. Says the trouble with selling players is we still can't demand decent fees. Look at Liverpool getting 34 million for Kwanzaa. They rinsed Leverkusen. Well, it's probably Ten Hag probably had a lot to do with that. So I'm surprised Ten Hag they didn't wait until August and then paid 85 million for him if they wanted him, like we did Anthony. But I'm hoping, Gary, that
The
it's
board
different.
probably told him no.
Yeah, it's about time. That guy. Clearly, Ten Hag has not been told no enough in his managerial career. At Ajax, it's so easy because they've got a proven pipeline of youth. They're good at identifying young players to buy, and so a lot. He didn't have to do a whole lot, but and I get it. You come to United and you walk in and you see the way our recruitment was when he got here, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "No, I gotta do this myself." It just didn't work, man. But no, I hear you, Gary. Gamer TV says this manager's system traditionally uses wingers as wingbacks, which is why we're linked with Fernandes and Ahmad, who already plays in that position. Dorgu, Leon, Amas, same mold. Yeah, it is a little. Sometimes it's lopsided. Like it tends to be more winger on the right side and more left back on the left side, and it kind of does one of these things. Well, it's backwards for you guys, um, but I just look at the players we've been linked with, and that's kind of where I get an idea of maybe what we're looking at. And look at the players we've been linked with for that right wingback spot. They are these young kind of wingbacks, the Cuendas, the Fernandez, the Francas at Flamenco and stuff. And I look at Sale Combati, and I think that's probably is fairly similar age, similar profile, similar traits, and I'm like, that makes sense. But Box says that 8 Nori and Kirkez were big misses. Yeah, Kirkez was Liverpool. I forget Liverpool are buying like a ton of players. That's insane because they're probably going to get a striker too, huh? And you haven't met it yet, so go ahead.
I was just, does Verts play more as a 10 or does he play more as a striker? I can't remember.
He's like a 10/8. He can kind of do both. He was injured for a long time, and obviously under Xabi Alonso, Leverkusen 3-5-2, so he's kind of a little bit of an 8 there. But he can play a little bit. He was a 10 before Xabi Alonso got there, and he was good. He got injured for a while, so I was a little concerned about that. But is he 100 million good? No, I don't think anybody's 100 million good. But
no, he's 130 million good.
Yeah, and he's on a lot of money for weekly wages too. That's embarrassing. Like and you won't hear a peep about it in the media, like at all. Like no one will mention it at all. There was a thing I saw yesterday. It was like I think I put it up on the channel. It was a two separate headlines from the BBC, and one was Vert and one was Embuemo, and it was praising Vert's like Starman worth every penny, and then the other one was like Embuemo like flash in the pan ? And I'm like, come on, like just a little effort to hide it, right? Like it's embarrassing, man. But yeah, no to Nkunku. What about these Onana rumors? The Monaco. Did you see some of that?
Take him, please, dear God, take him.
He's the best keeper in the world. You guys would be like, we're losing out on this deal. You guys know.
Yeah.
That was like,
oh no, please.
Right. It was on, and then Romano says, "No, that's not happening." I don't know what's going on. I saw today though that Andre Lunen's price tag is reported to like 20 million pounds, and I'm like, yes, 100 times yes.
Yes,
Andre Lunen.
He was the one I wanted. He was the goalkeeper I wanted.
He's So if you guys haven't watched for too long, if you missed out on that video, I did that Andre Onana replacement video the other week. Who would your pick be? So you say Lunen would be your pick?
Oh yeah.
I saw Chevalier's price tag was reportedly lowered to like 40, 45 million. Lunen's half that. I like Lunen a lot. He's so good.
Oh yeah.
And like he's done it under the lights at the Bernabeu. I think he can handle the pressure of Manchester United too. I think that kind of clinches it. That's a factor you don't get from any of these other goalkeepers that we've been linked with. It doesn't mean they're not good, but I think that's an extra little like X factor for me. Like you could do it at Madrid, you could do it at United, right? But yeah, Lunin 20 million. Would you got? Oh, I gotta go back to check out my poll. So 50% would keep Anthony out of those four. Nobody would keep Sancho. Fuck off. I'm gonna put another poll in for keepers here. Hold on a second. Feel free to read out some comments if you see any, man, while I'm doing these polls.
Let's see here. Chris Cooksey goes, Embuemo and Cunha, let Xerxes cook at false 9 or Bruno. I don't mind that. I think that would work.
Bramo Kune, let's go. Yeah, I mean, you could have a little like a 3-4-3 with a false 9 situation, right? 9.5. I didn't wear my 9.5 shirt today. What were you saying?
Lionheart says Liverpool are ending the race for Gyökeres.
Somebody else mentioned that on another channel earlier. I haven't seen any links to Gyökeres from Liverpool, although it wouldn't surprise me to see them kind of swoop in and do that because, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen that he would choose them. It seems like he wants to go to a club that maybe he thinks is pretty much going to win something, but interesting. But welcome back, Chris Coopsy. He says lighting got your guy looking like Phantom of the Opera. He's probably sitting next to a window. It's going to happen.
I'm the understudy for this evening's performance, so
that's funny. But we could still see him, so it's all good. Gary says if Ten Hag had a conscience, he'd bid 80 million. Well, remember, Ten Hag's not the one doing it. That was all United that did that. When Ten Hag wanted Anthony, he was like 30 million, and then we just sat around for 2 months and didn't do anything. But Bach says, unfortunately, Wirtz is a top signing. He's a good player. I don't think he's worth what Liverpool are paying for him, and I'm not alone in that for sure. Bach says Bolka's going to Sunderland. I did see some links today linking Bolka to Sunderland. I haven't seen anything yet. I feel like that would be a bit of a step down for him. Sunderland are going to be a yo-yo club for sure. And I mean, they did well to get promoted, but they just lost Job. They're going to struggle to keep hold of Chris Rigg as well. To me, that just seems like a destination to just a bad one. So Chris says, great vid on the potential goalies. Thank you, man. You guys know I like doing scouting reports. I'm a bit of a nerd. Who's the guy at Antwerp? Yeah, that's Sen Lamens. We've been linked to him, young keeper at Royal Antwerp, having a very, very, very good season. I think he would be a great keeper. He was the one. So the thing I said for Sen Lamens is like, if we're stuck with Onana, like if Onana's not going anywhere, go buy Sen Lamens right now for like 15, 20 million and then loan him back to Antwerp for the year like Liverpool just did with Marmardashvili. And then you can tell Onana to fuck off in a year and you bring Sen Lamens in and good to go. That's my if we're stuck with Onana option. My first choice, like same as Dylan, like Andre Lunin, 20 million, Real Madrid, get it done and figure out what to do with Onana after the fact, in my opinion. It was a toss up for me. I don't know about you, Dylan, but my priorities going into the summer, it was a toss up between striker and goalkeeper for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
like equal importance, man. But
after the final, I was pretty much like any goalkeeper, please, just somebody else.
Yeah, stick someone's nan in there and let her just sit and knit on the goal line. She'll probably stop a couple by accident, probably more than one I will. Even if it blasts my grandma in the face, at least it'll keep it out of the net. That's fine. Sorry, Grandma, I love you. Chris says nothing beyond the scouts. Yeah, this is what happens when you do your rebuild properly. And I hate giving Liverpool props, but this is how you know that I can be objective. They had a plan, they had a project 10 years ago, and they stuck by it even after 4 years of winning fuck all under Jurgen Klopp. And this is reaping the benefits of sticking to a long-term project and building something. Now you can afford to just get these like big money signings like randomly and stuff. Now you can afford to do this, and you're patient. When they couldn't get Virgil van Dijk right away, they didn't just go out and spend that much money on another defender. That was who they wanted, so they found a free transfer in like what's that guy Ragnar something. Who's the other the Cameroonian defender? What was his name? I can't never remember his name. He's gone. He hasn't been there in a minute, but he was a free transfer as well. And then when they were able to get Van Diklis, they got Van Diklis. Any excuse to say Van Diklis this many times on a stream is awesome. So, but that's how you do it. It is, and it's going to suck for a couple of years, but it's a long-term project. So, what are you going to do? Gary says Sunderland are going straight back down. Yeah. Who got promoted? Remind me, Dylan.
Burnley, Leeds,
Burnley.
and
Sheffield,
Burnley, Leeds, and Sunderland.
And so, okay, I forgot about Dirty Leeds. That's 6 points in the bag right there. Coming up this season.
But I'm hoping for it.
Yeah, too bad we don't have McTominay here to bang in the brace against Leeds again, but I'll take another 5-2. That's fine. Gary says, I'm just happy we didn't have to see Sheffield United in the Prem again.
I hate Sheffield United, so that was awesome when they lost.
Yeah, it was a fun little. I was a little bummed that Middlesbrough kind of tapered off a little bit. I was really rooting for Michael Carrick. I think they just kind of started tapering off second half of the season. So Kai says we don't have a good young goalkeeper. We have them. It just doesn't ever seem like we want to back them. We keep selling out our academy keepers. Joel Pereira, Dean Henderson, Matty Kovar, Radek Vitek's probably going to get sold. We just don't back our academy keepers. It doesn't make sense to me. Like Radek Vitek is older than De Gea was when we bought De Gea. So, and he's doing very well on loan. Is he? Do you think is he ready to start? I mean, it can't be worse than Onana, right? But yeah, Vox says Vitek. Matip, that's who it is. Thank you, Vox. I always forget Joel Matip's name. But yeah, he was free from Schalke, I believe it was. And that other guy, Ragnar Klavan, I think he was like Slovenian or something, the center back. Nobody remembers who he was because he was only there for a couple of years. But that's how you do it. And then they got that Turkish guy on loan. I forget his name a couple of years back because you can't just spend money just to spend money, right? So, yeah. So going back to Nkunku, are there any Chelsea players you would take? What are we talking about? I said Cucurella. Who did you say?
Oh, the only one maybe, and it's just from the little bit I've watched him, but I think maybe Malagusto might work in that right wing back role a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got energy, he's got pace. He looked attacking the few times I've watched him. Defensively, he struggles, so that might not be a good thing. But
it's too bad Conor Gallagher's not there anymore because he would fit us like a glove.
I wanted us to sign Conor Gallagher. I wanted us to sign when he was at Wolves.
He did really well at Palace when he was on loan, but just it is what it is. He's an academy product, Chelsea, and same with Mason Mount. Chelsea made a lot of money off Gallagher and Mason Mount, so that was like 100 million they made off of those two, so that helped for sure. But who else have we been linked with this year? Have you seen any rumors that we haven't discussed yet? I'm just kind of looking through my notes here.
Nothing that we haven't discussed already. I read the Nkunku one this morning, and I was like, no. I was like, just delete that piece of my mail. So.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, on keepers, Gary says Emi Martinez wants to come to us. He's got a clanger or two in him, but he's quality on his day. Yeah, I think my thoughts on Emi Martinez are academic at this point. Like 2-3 years ago, for sure, maybe even like a year ago, maybe. But he's just I don't know. 40 million for a 32-year-old keeper who's honestly not. If you look at the numbers, not really any better than Onana numbers wise. And he's on the decline. Like the other day when the rumors started getting really heavy, I put up his percentiles for the last 3 seasons, and you can see this last season was a sharp decline from the 2 seasons prior. Like it's just he's on the decline, and I'm all set. I know Villa have a PSR situation; they need to raise some funds, but you're dreaming if you think you're going to get 40 million for Emi Martinez at this point. It's not going to happen. He's not Peter Cech. He's not doing it at 32. It's not going to happen. So. Leinart says, I forgot about Madueke. Chalobah. Yeah, I remember we were linked with Chalobah for a minute. We're talking a little bit about midfielders. So we got linked to a midfielder this week that I immediately got excited about. We talked a little bit about this. Arden Yashari. Um, so AC Milan made a bid, right? And this is the story. They AC Milan made a bid, but I saw today that AC Milan are also probably getting Luka Modric as well, which I did not even realize was a thing. They've also spoken to Granit Xhaka. They've also spoken to Samuele Ricci, who plays for Torino as well. Roughly the same price that they made an offer. So it sounds like AC Milan are kind of looking at a couple different midfield options, and they're putting out feelers. And I think that Arden Yashari was one of those options that they're looking at that they like. They have to replace Tijani Reinders, who went to Man City. This is an opportunity for us to swoop, and it sounds like maybe we're exploring that. So this is coming from Ryan Taylor with the Daily Mirror. It says, United hold talks with reps of Club Brugge midfielder Arden Yashari, but deal looks complex after AC Milan tabled £25.5 million bid. Fulham West Ham had identified the player of the year among top targets, but have seen advances rejected. Now, I've talked about Yashari a ton of times. Have you got a chance to watch him at all this season?
I haven't. I watched a few clips before we came on here. He looks at least from the clips, he looks good. He looks like that would be a very beneficial signing for us.
He's so
what he
good.
can provide us. I don't think, and I just saw one of the rumors from one of the Club Brugge journalists that says it doesn't look like he wants to come to the Premier League though, because he already rejected a Fulham approach.
Well, Fulham ain't United. Let's just have that right. Let's just be honest. It's one thing if Fulham come knocking on your door. It's another thing entirely if United come knocking on your door. It's just the way it is. I mean, Cunha chose us before the final was even a thing, and Buemo chose us. And I think that personally, that does help when you're trying to look at when you see these players that are choosing us, over other clubs. And choosing the project, and you're seeing youngsters like Aiden Heaven come out and say, yeah, this club has an excellent track record and a pathway for young players. Some players look at that project and want to be a part of it, and they like what they're seeing. I like Arden Yashari a lot. He's got excellent ball progression numbers. They're all in the greens if you look on FBref. Ball progression machine, that's his job. Romano claims that AC Milan will go in for another bid, but again, we've been in contact with his reps as well. So don't rule us out. Don't crush my dreams. I've been banging this drum for like 7 months now, Arden Yashari. You guys know from way, way back when my first scouting report on him was a long time ago. And he's featured in a lot of my rebuild videos, a lot of my transfer target videos. There's a reason for that. And as you can see, the hype is real. All these other clubs are now getting. I'm gonna demand a finder's fee if we end up buying him. So it is what it is.
You send them your bill.
I'm gonna do something, man. Like I need to get something for that because I deserve it. Kai says 60 million for Emmy and Ollie at most. No. 29-year-old Ollie Watkins, 32-year-old Emmy Martinez. You get 30 million. That's what I'm doing if that's who you're getting. Like Chris says, Nkunku can play in any of our front three positions, can play wide as well, but specializes on the inside. Swap him for the Argentine, whose name shall not be mentioned. Nkunku can only contribute if he's fit, and he's missed over 50 games for Chelsea alone since joining them a couple years ago. So I'm all set on Nkunku. I don't know what you guys do. Gary likes Diogo Costa for 50 million for Diogo Costa is a lot, and I'm not even that convinced on Diogo Costa. You remember when we were linked to him this summer? We got Onana. What do you think of Costa?
I wanted him over Onana, and yeah, he's kind of fallen off a little bit in the Portuguese league there. So that he's still doing well for the national team. I just don't know. I haven't heard as much as I used to, so that just gives me some pause in considering him for the role.
Yeah, he's definitely it's so funny because I'm looking at his percentiles right now, Diogo Costa. So he's definitely more of a sweeper. Like if you look at like his defensive actions, they're all in like the top 10%. But like other than that, he's not great. I mean, I don't put a lot of stock in clean sheets because that has not like more to do with a lot of other players than just the keeper necessarily. Save percentage is all right. It's 67th percentile, so it's above average. But whenever I watch him, though, he always gives me like early David De Gea vibes, like very shaky, very kind of not a whole lot of physicality there. He doesn't scream to me someone who commands the box. And like someone said about Emi Martinez, I feel like Diogo Costa's got a clanger or two in him as well. And so, which is going to happen. Keepers aren't going to be infallible in net, but I just never got the hype with Diogo Costa personally. But I want to go back to the Van der Sar, the Schmeichels. I want the physical guys who command their box. They make the saves. They lead. Like guys who remember, hey, I'm taller than everyone else, and I can use my hands. So there's no excuse for me not to just like steamroll everybody to get this ball out of the box. But yeah, Andre Lunin for the win, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Gary says, I still reckon it's worse than being an Arsenal fan right now. Norgard for 15 million, 31 years. Yeah, I don't know what Arsenal are doing right now, honestly. They got Zubimende, Mourinho, and they got Norgard. What is Norgard going to do? I know Thomas Partey's leaving for free, right? Did you see this today? This Norgard nonsense?
No, I saw they were kind of talking about it in the chat, and I was like, I didn't know that was even a thing that Arsenal wanted to do.
Yeah. So, and it's funny, dude,
because maybe they're not getting Chesko either.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I've seen United fans on Twitter who are raging about Norgard. Like, and you see this a lot with United fans whenever anybody signs a player. It's, we should have been informed. But I'm like, you guys are the same United fans who will rail on about standards, and now you're like, we should have been in for Norgard. And I'm like, really? Norgard? That guy? I mean, no. I'm all set on that. 15 million for a 31-year-old Norgard, though, is a bit of a joke, personally. But maybe they're, I don't know, it's just contributing to Brentford's funds, I guess. Rob says Chelsea can keep their broken players. No more Mounts. Yes, please. No more Mounts. I would have maybe included Mount and some cash for Mbuemo and gotten him out of here personally, but he needs to go. Chris says Martinez is ready for 2 seasons, imposing, and has the balls. Yeah, I'm here for the shithousery for Emi Martinez. I think he's got the personality for sure. The quality is question mark for me personally. But now, like Lionheart says, not for 40 million, not at all.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, no, I'm good. What do you feel about this whole nonsense? Sorry, I shouldn't have said nonsense. I meant to say notion. Freudian slip. What do you feel about this notion that keepers can play until their 30s and stuff? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, we've seen it happen with Van der Sar, Czech, all that. Some of the ones that were top players, but it seems like the position is a little bit different now. Like you have to be a little more accurate with your passes, how you're going to be commanding your box, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they're lasting as long. Like I remember who Leicester had Kasper Schmeichel. He kind of hit 32, and just downhill. So that's how it appears to me.
And that's my point. Like, I've never once said that keepers can't play into their early 30s, mid 30s, whatever. What only thing I've ever challenged is how good are these keepers at that age? Because the keepers that people list are the outliers. They are the Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing at 40. The Messi still playing in his late 30s, kind of outliers. The Scholes can come out of retirement at 40 and play, outliers. Like, and even then, there are like literally a handful. And if you look at this, and if you look at the sample size of keepers over the last 2 decades, because if people are going to use Edwin van der Sar, you have to go back that long. It's like a tiny, like 0.1% of all keepers in Europe that are still playing at that level, that quality at that age. So it's not the rule. It is definitely the exception. And I'm not paying 40 million for it anymore. So, it is what it is. Gary says, Sean, you want a keeper who can actually do their job. It's his job. This and prevent goals. Remember those keepers. I don't. It's been a long time since we've had those keepers because I love David De Gea, but even he was on the decline the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And we can't let that go. He was one of the best shot stoppers in the world in like 15, 16 season-ish, but he definitely doesn't suit the system personally. Let's see. Chris says Sancho, Rashford, or the lad from South America is collateral. No one wants to say the name. It's like Voldemort out here. We don't speak his name. To narrow it down, the lad from South America with the attitude problem. All right, you have to make it. Is that Anthony? You're talking about Anthony? All right. We got preseason coming up here shortly, Dylan. Hopefully, we can get our business done before preseason. I think that July 1st. But
I'm hoping.
yeah, I wanted your thoughts on what's the. Sorry, lost my place here. What do you? Speaking of Rashford and Sancho and he who shall not be named, what should we be doing with these guys going into preseason? Like, leave them home, take them with us.
Yep.
Like, yep. What? Let me know.
Just leave him home. Just Rashford doesn't want to be here. Garnacho's throwing a fit because he's 20, and Sancho has no desire to be part of the club. Anthony might be the only one I'd take,
Yeah.
and that's iffy. But just leave him home. Just leave him back at train. Just say you got to train by yourself, or go train with the academy. No, actually, don't even go to the academy. You'll give them bad ideas. Just train by
Yeah.
yourself.
Right. Yeah, I mean Rashford's doing that on vacation, so I mean fair play is doing
Yeah.
it, but like it's always iffy, right? Because it's like we don't necessarily help ourselves to get the best fee if they're not playing, if we're kind of I guess reinforcing this whole bad apple mindset. I mean it's there, people can see it. It's not like it's a secret, right? But you want them fit, but at the same time you want them gone. So it's a difficult one for. I'm with you. I would just say no. You're not going anywhere. Like you don't need your passport. You don't need your passport. You don't need your passport. Go stay here, play FC25. Do what you got to do. Rashford, go do some more YouTube interviews. Garnacho, go take some more photos. Sancho, I don't really care what you do. Just go. Just start learning. Go get a Duolingo and start learning Italian. I don't know what to tell you. Um, it's just like the wages are killing us though. Like,
Oh yeah.
so it's impossible to sell these players, but they need to go if they're not going to be part of the squad. But it's like they're also not making it easy for us to sell them. They don't want to take a reduction. Like they're throwing like temper tantrums. They're doing stupid shit on social media that doesn't help us get the best price for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, man. It's who do you think is going to be our first player sale? Let me put that out to the chat. Get involved in the chat. Who do you think will be the first player out the door from United this summer? Hit me.
Garnacho. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, the brat from South
You said his name, Dylan.
America. We shall not name. I know. I've ruined it now.
Got to go into a bathroom, turn off the light, and say it 3 times in front of a mirror, and then he will appear and take an Instagram photo with you. That's how he gets you. I'm trying to think. I think it'll be Anthony. I think that now that Real Betis have sold Cardoso to Atletico Madrid, they've got some money. I think that we'll get some sort of a deal there for Anthony. I don't think it's going to be the 40 some odd million that we think. I think it'll be closer to like maybe 30, 25 million with add-ons or something. I think personally it'll be Anthony. You guys let me know in the chat who you think will be the first player sale this summer. When do you think we could see a first sale, Dylan?
So probably first week of July. I think when all the clubs roll over, I think we'll get at least something done.
Interesting, good shout.
Ooh, Lions. Yeah.
There's a chance it could be Rashford. I read that Barcelona have actually reached out regarding Marcus Rashford. This is what is coming from Rob Dawson today. He said Barcelona have asked United for details on Marcus Rashford's situation, but have indicated their preference would be for a loan deal, which would require United to pay a portion of his wages.
Yeah, because they can't afford it.
Like this is the same situation we've had with Sancho, the same situation Betis are trying to do with freaking Anthony. Like, just pay the money, man. Like, or if he doesn't want to take a wage cut, then it's like. But this is my point. We shoot ourselves in the foot. This right here is why we're in a PHR like shit show right now, man. Like, Lionheart says it could be Collier. Interesting. Gary Fez, I find it astonishing that clubs are still showing interest in Sancho. The guy will bring nothing to any team he goes to. No, you're absolutely right, because he's had attitude issues at every single club he's ever been at, including the English team, the England camp. He's got an attitude problem. He just does. I'm not trying to do a character assassination. I'm just literally looking at facts. He's copy-pasted that scapegoat tweet with Dortmund and with United. He's used it at 2 clubs. Like, the guy's just a little brat, dude. And I'm like, and what makes me mad about that is like, dude, you're like 23, 24. Like, come on, grow up, dude. I say this about Jack Grealish. You're like 28. You're still acting like you're 19 at your first frat party at college. Like, dude, grow up. Like, seriously. But I thought that was interesting that, I mean, I don't know how much I buy into it. Gary says, tell Barca to pound sand, either buy him or stop wasting our time. Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, I like it.
I like where your head's at. I just don't know what the options are for Rashford personally. Barcelona, like, I don't know what the options are, man. Like, I don't like his wages are killing us. Sancho's wages, Anthony's wages are killing us. Garnacho, like you're saying, might be the easier one to get because he's only on 50K a week.
Mm-hmm.
He's young, like that's appealing to a lot of clubs. So maybe all that in mind, that can make him more appealing. I'm maybe just wishful thinking that Betis actually just get this Anthony deal over the line. But you think it could happen before preseason then?
I'm hoping it's
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it seems, at least for me, to be trending. Like something will get done in some sort of sell deal around that first week.
Yeah. I do think once July 1st hits, I think you're going to see a lot of moves going on. It's a whole new calendar year for a lot of clubs, financially speaking. So PSR that's going to be a huge blow. So everything that we spent thus far does not count towards next year once July 1st hits. So that's going to be a big help. I just don't know what Barcelona are playing at. Like, do you order food at a restaurant and then try to figure out how to pay for it after the fact? No, you pay up or you don't eat. Like, it's not that difficult. You can't come in here and dine and ditch on these freaking players. Just get it. Just pay up, man. You're Barcelona. Like, come on. It's annoying, man. I can't stand Barcelona
If I
sometimes.
were a Barcelona fan, I'd be embarrassed. Just saying.
Yeah, they're not though because they're gonna sell those stupid. What were those jerseys that? I don't know who this. I always forget this dude's name because I don't know who people are, but like they had those special edition jerseys, some rapper or something. I don't know. They were selling them for like a freaking thousand, a grand. It was ridiculous. I don't know. It's ridiculous. How do you feel about Johnny Evans sticking around to help out and
Love
take
it.
on a role working with the academy? Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
having that experience, and we know John. I mean, not that Johnny Evans, and I mean he's from the Alex Ferguson era, but he's conducted himself with class, with poise, with maturity the whole way through, and that's going to do well for the academy. And that's
yeah.
what the academy players need to see. This is how you conduct yourself. This is how, when you don't win the titles, this is how you conduct yourself as a person, as a sportsman, everything. So
Yeah.
great move.
This is how we reinstitute the professional into professional footballer. Like, and
Yep.
I think that he is just a consummate class act. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, Johnny Evans is set to stay at Manchester United after agreeing to a new role on staff. He will look after the youth loans, helping find players clubs, offering support during that process. And because he came through the academy, he knows the club, like you're saying, and he's been there. And I think we talked about a little yesterday in yesterday's show. Like, there's almost an art to finding good loan moves for players. There's so much that goes into it. The right club that gets the best out of them. Are they going to play? What kind of system do they offer, and things like that. Ideally, you want a good fit. I think for a lot of our youngsters, we'd want them to play in England so they can get used to the English game. But so it's a matter of priorities. Do you prioritize minutes? Do you prioritize similar league? Do you prioritize similar system and stuff? The academy sometimes will play a system that we're playing, this three at the back stuff, but they switch on and off sometimes. So we're trying to go the Ajax route, I think, where from the academy on, we're doing the same throughout the club. So, but I like Johnny Evans. As long as he's qualified, as long as he's good at it, I
Oh,
don't have a problem with it. But you have to be qualified to do it. So Gary says it's a good role for Johnny. We need someone behind the scenes who knows what it means to represent this club. Yeah, and I love that.
100%.
I love that Fletcher's kind of helping out. Again, as long as you're good at your job, I don't really mind. Like it doesn't scream like favoritism or even like a nepotism kind of thing to me. If you're qualified, so and I don't have a problem. Lionheart loves it. Gary likes it. Chris says, if Anthony came back to United, I'd give him a fair crack, but could do the Diallo role at left wing back. Yeah, I mean, he could. Yeah. I,
Yeah.
we got to get rid of some players. I'm so done with some of these players. I've had to watch Anthony for like 2 years. I'm done with it, man. He was such a good player. I think that's what bugs me the most about Anthony is I watched a lot of Ajax when Ten Hag, when Anthony, when Donny Van de Beek, when all these guys were there. And I watched Anthony, and he was so good. And then he just came to United, and he had a bright start. And then he got found out, and then just like it just looked like he just gave up on himself, man. Freaking annoying. So there's that. So not much else going on transfer wise. I did see that Shesko has started following Arsenal on Instagram. So we all know that in transferees, that means he's joining Arsenal, right? That's just the rule. That's how it works. Shesko is a name that I feel like he's out there, but like I feel like it's one we all kind of overlook. Did you ever rate Shesko at all?
Well, I think we linked with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like because we're linked with everybody. But it was more of like a developmental striker role. I liked him then. I haven't really paid attention to him now. I haven't paid attention to his development. But I mean, good for them if they get him. But also, it's Arsenal, so they'll probably cock it up somehow.
Between Ekitike and Shesko, I do feel like Ekitike is the better player. I've seen Shesko have some awful matches. Very, very Hoyland-esque sometimes with the chances that he's missed this season in front of goal. Does look like he's a striker that is lacking confidence. He's young. They keep bringing in strikers at Leipzig, so they brought in like Openda, Poulsen came back and stuff, and I think that it's just I don't know. It does seem like an Arsenal type signing, like a young kind of player, but yeah, I'm not for me personally. Somewhere though, Gyökeres is having a bit of an argument with his agent these days. And that's going to be super awkward the next time we hang out if Shesko goes to Arsenal after all this shit. Danny calls him Tesco. How dare you? How dare you? Tesco is your one-stop shop for all your conveniences and even your restaurant needs. They have an excellent full English breakfast, and they're open at like 6 a.m., Danny. How dare you? Put some respect on their name. And
how much does Tesco pay you for that advert there?
I mean, they can if they want me to. I'll shoot them a clip of this video, and they can just throw me some vouchers for some free breakfast when we hopefully go there. I was looking at flights, man. Those flights they're about the same as they always are, but Great. I think it's like right in between Christmas and New Year, and so I'm like, ugh, that sucks. But Chris says, got to get creative. He's got the work rate. Diallo can cover the 10 rolls. Got to piss with the dick you got. I've never heard that, but I like it. Oh, you guys are funny. Trying to get me not monetized out here. I saw this interesting thing too. So you probably looked at the notes. Did you see this story from Santi Ono or Santi JFM on Twitter? Very, very prevalent, very frequently involved on soccer and football rumors and whatnot. But like, he claims that Cristiano Ronaldo is set to have absolute control over all of Al Nassr's decisions in the transfer market this summer. Did you see that nonsense?
Which means Casemiro's going back. He's going to reunite. They're going to form an unstoppable duo.
That would be so ideal. This is the one time where I'm happy about Ronaldo's moving to Al Nassr, that there's a possibility that he can come back for his boy Casemiro. I don't have a problem with Casemiro, but his wages are killing us, and I want to see us get a midfielder in. So if he's the roadblock to that, then we need to remove that barrier.
Yes,
this just like that has to be like that's because a similar thing happened with Mbappe at PSG, right? Like he basically was getting control over a lot of that stuff. Like this has to be just a Hail Mary from Al Nassr to keep him there. To be.
Yeah,
and
that's the only thing I can think of.
And like that almost seems to me like what Ibrahimovic is doing at AC Milan a little bit. Like he's like some sort of a sporting director, but not like officially. He's just like involved. Like, but it sounds like Ronaldo's like playing while he's still doing this. So it's just so weird. We've had when I was at Livonia City FC on the board, like we had some guys who like they were on the board, but they're also like playing as well. So it was like. You see that a lot at like this level. You don't see it a lot at the professional level. So, I mean, I guess Giggsy was a player manager for a couple games, but that was an emergency. But I'm just like you're saying, Casemiro's available. I'm just I mean, we love him. You can. Danny's got his finger. Danny's crossing everything. Yeah, Casemiro to me is the big roadblock to us getting a midfielder. Personally, I think we have a lot of midfielders that can play in that pivot, and I think that is going to be a big hindrance. So he would be the one to go. A lot of the midfielders we're looking at, I like a lot of them. I would take a lot of them. I think it is about player sales first, unfortunately. But I would use Collier as a make weight, though, in a lot, like for a Hackney or something like that. Gary says, Xerxes as a false nine could work well for us. Problem is Hoyland as a backup, and Bomo and Cunha will automatically improve our goal tally. Yeah, I think I like that we have a lot of options now. We're not so one-dimensional where we're going to be overly reliant on Bruno or Ahmad. You got goals can come from anywhere now these days, especially if we do get another striker. So are you excited about this, Dylan?
As long as everything goes through, we got to get the Embuemo deal through, and then I'll feel a little bit better. Until I see the here we go, I'm not gonna,
well,
count my chickens too early. So
you guys know that we will be here if and when the Embuemo deal is finalized. We will be here to get your thoughts and your reactions to that. Dylan, 3 players between now and the end of the summer transfer window that you can bring in. Who are they? Go.
So if we can't get anybody else, I'm going to get Jonathan David, cover our striker, our hole in the striker position. That would be good.
I like it.
Jashari, definitely want Jashari.
You're already on the channel. You don't have to butter me up anymore, man. That's all right.
And then obviously, João Felix needs to come. I'm kidding.
There he is. Yes.
If actually, those were the 2 I really wanted. I don't really have anybody else to get. I'm trying to think. We've talked about so many players on here now. I can't even remember who I've said in the past. Ederson, maybe if we had the money, just to get more midfield help. But yeah, definitely Jashari. What am I talking about? Lunin. We just talked about Lunin. Oh my god.
It's all right. It's been a long day.
Lunin. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. My 3 would
I
be.
know. I'm just.
It would be Gyökeres, Jashari, and Lunin for me. If I had just 3 more players to come in, I think that solves a lot of problems. And then I think we can get by till at least January with everyone else that we have in the squad personally. But yeah, striker who scores goals, midfielder who can kind of help Bruno. But the problem is now I go back and forth a little bit because we got Embuemo, we got Cunha, which to me means Bruno is going to be playing in that pivot. How do you feel about Bruno playing in the deeper role?
I like it to the degree that he helps bring the ball up and can get the attack started. I don't like it because we lose some of the flair in the attack that he creates. And I especially with Cunha and Embuemo, I think we'd lose a little bit in the attack with that. So I'm torn.
So what that means, though, like if you get a midfielder, that means that midfielder is either going to be a rotation option or they're going to have to play alongside Bruno, which, again, if we're being linked to midfielders and we're getting Cunha and Embuemo who are going to play in those 10s, makes me think Bruno is going to play in a deeper role. I wonder a little bit what's going on with Ugarte then, because he did not play in the final. He got 20 minutes against Chelsea. Like, what's going on there? I haven't seen anything going on. I don't know if there's anything more to it, but I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. I don't know if that's a stylistic move because he wasn't fitting the system at that point. But yeah, that's going to be weird because I like Ugarte. I like the fight he puts forward. I like his energy. I like how he presses. But yeah, I don't know anything about that. It's weird that, and now that you say that, I haven't seen anything, and that I'm gonna have to look into that now.
Danny says we should have sold Bruno. I agree. Strictly for a rebuild perspective, I love Bruno. He's been one of my favorite players since he's joined the club. But that money could have gone a very long way. Personally, it could have sped up this rebuild by a couple of windows. Personally, it is what it is now. We can't do anything about it. So I almost wonder maybe like yeah, I just it's going to be interesting without European football. You know, there's a minimum 8 matches that we're not playing next year just from the league phase. So there will be opportunity for rotation. But we'll see. I wonder where Bruno is gonna fit in this side. But you guys, let me know where you think Bruno fits in now with Cunha and Buemo coming in, and then the midfield options. Does that automatically mean he's going into a deeper role? If so, what's going on with all these midfielders that we've been linked with? Are we just kind of planning? If we're putting in bids for Jashari, if we're reaching out to Jashari, to me that means that Jashari is at the top of our list and we don't want to lose him to some of these other clubs, and we're willing to spend a little more now to get him if that's what's going on, because that's what happens. But I just wonder what that means for Ugarte, for Casemiro, for Mainu, for Collier as well. Maybe there's something into these Casemiro links. Maybe Ugarte. I mean, Amorim sold Ugarte from Sporting to PSG when he was there. Maybe there's something. He didn't give him any minutes recently, so it's interesting stuff, man. But what about you? What anything on your mind, football wise? What's going on, Man United? What'd you have for dinner?
Didn't eat yet. I'm gonna eat after. Yeah, I'm on the Spanish dinner schedule. Just eat 8.
Oh yeah, o'clock. Just eating at like midnight. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with it once the Embuemo deal gets. I want to know what our next move is. I'm hoping it's going to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Especially if we can get Lunin. But we'll see.
For 20 million, just you go get him and you figure it out later. In my opinion, like you just have to. But what are you gonna do? But it's gonna be interesting to see, say the least. Gary loves Bruno. Could have got us a couple decent players. Yeah, that could have kickstarted a lot. Chris says Rasmus has to go. Was excited about his signing, but that cringe gladiator celebration leaves a lot to be desired, especially when he's not scoring that much. Young players trying to create a brand. Yeah, that is a weird thing that people do. You see that all the time, whether it's hairstyle, whether it's the low socks, the celebration. I was getting that feeling a little bit with Pogba with the one arm sleeve at times. I was like, why? Like, this isn't the NBA, bro. What are you doing? It's weird. Yeah, football is weird. Footballers they're almost like a little like divas in a way when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it is about brand. But at the same time, I'm like, your brand can just be that you're good. I don't know why we have to do all this stuff, but it is what it is. Get your thoughts in real quick, because we've kept Dylan here long enough. Want him to go eat, but get your final thoughts in, you guys. Make sure you're liking that video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please go check the links in the video description. You can check out that charity for the Michigan Animal Welfare Foundation. That's including the shelter that my wife volunteers at is included in this fundraiser as well. If you find it in your heart at all to contribute. If not, no worries. Like I said, any super chats, any memberships, anything you buy from the UVE store, including the OG green and gold shirt that we're wearing here, anything that is raised in the channel between now and August, we'll go towards that or cut a check for that. But there are links in there for some other fun goodies and stuff as well. Make sure you're checking that out. And then the memberships too. Learn how you can get more involved in the channel. Chris says Pogba is at least a genius. Is he though? I
would agree. Only for the French national team.
Is he though? Gary says the majority of players nowadays would have gotten on the bench in most teams in the Prem. Yeah, and that's stretching it still, in my opinion. We need to get some grit back into this Man United squad. We need to get some fight, some attitude, some resilience as well. And call me old, but I mean, I miss Keno, I miss Scholesy, I miss Cantona, I miss Robbo, I miss these guys. I miss just that mentality where you didn't have to go in on your teammates. Like, the standard was up here, and people just knew if you weren't playing that way, you were done. And like, that's what I miss, but I'm old. So Dylan, any final thoughts before I let you and everyone else get out of here? Thank you guys for jumping by tonight too. I love the Kickabout. I'm having a real blast with this. You enjoying it, Dylan?
Loving it. This is so much fun.
Final thoughts.
Thanks
Gary,
everybody for letting me come on here. Gary is a legend.
dude, Gary's a legend, man. Gary has gifted 5 United vs. Everybody memberships, man.
Dude, we got to get Gary on here, man.
Dang, everybody's getting these memberships. Absolute legend, Gary. I do appreciate that. Gary. Gary's been such a huge contributor this week as well. Big up, Gary. Absolute legend, man. That's awesome. Yeah, you can jump on.
You're
The
awesome, Gary.
membership. The Legends membership does offer you the chance to join in on the Kickabout as well. That is one of the perks of the Legends members. You do get access to that. Just if you are a Legends member and you want to jump in on the Kickabout, we do this at 6 p.m. my time on Wednesdays, and you can jump in, share your thoughts. Just send your email to unitedstatesofunited@gmail.com, and I will shoot you the invite link just like I did to Dylan, and you can pop on like we're doing here, and you can jump on and join in the fun. That is the perk of the Legends membership. So keep that in mind. But Gary, you're an absolute legend, man. Top man, class act all the way. Everybody, thank you for joining in tonight. Dylan, thank you again, as always, man. Always appreciate hearing your thoughts, man. And everybody enjoy your night. Thank you again. Make sure you like and subscribe. And Dylan, say goodbye to everybody, and we'll let you guys get on your way.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Sean, thank you again for having me. Love doing the Kickabout.
Well, I'm so thrilled to have you, man. I appreciate you stopping by. All right, buddy. Take it easy. Enjoy your night, and keep a lookout for any sort of Mbemo news. We could get an Mbamba at some point. Maybe I'll play Mbop in the background when we do that. All the mms are going to happen. So take it easy, guys. I'll talk to you later. Cheers.
Have a good one, everybody.